we have to ask ourselves, what is MAGA? Or rather, who is MAGA? And then America does the first sinking of a vessel with a torpedo since World War II, and we really need to rethink our opsec when it comes to the Pentagon and ordering pizzas. And who is the biggest loser in Iran? Let's go ahead and get into it. Welcome to the Ripple Effect. So there's been a lot of news this week, and honestly, I'm going to cut through some of it real quickly and do some just real quick, rapid facts to get you to the basic stuff, and then we'll get into the things that I think are important, especially with social things, society. First off, Kristy Noem was fired. If you haven't seen that, then I don't know where you've been. She's been everywhere. She had a disastrous hearing where the biggest part of it was that she couldn't say no to, are you cheating on your husband with, I forget the guy's name, but are you cheating on your husband with a staffer? And she was just like, this is a horrible question to ask. How dare you ask this question? And they're like, the proper answer to that question is no. Like, if you're in a cabinet position, the proper answer to are you cheating on your wife is, or on your husband in this case, is no, right? You can then complain about the question, but you got to start with no. And that wasn't even the worst part. Apparently, she tried to blame Trump for her $220 million rather ad campaign, basically an ad for her. If you watch it, that's basically what it was. And she blames Trump, and Trump was not happy. He was very upset about it. In fact, Senator Kennedy pointed that out and was very questioning of her statement that Trump authorized it. The only good news from the whole thing was when Senator Coons, who was a Democrat, was trying to nail her down on, is ICE going to be at the polling booths? And she finally responded with, you're very determined by this. And she finally responded and said, are you planning on having illegals at the voting booth? Which, of course, the answer to that one, Kristy, is yes. In other news about social things, Trump puts out a tweet of like the 5 or whatever most important things that he's dealing with. And one of them was child mutilation. And he put on there, and what's funny is I understood why he did this. It was a mistake. But he put on there and said that child mutilation should not happen without the parents' knowledge. And I don't think everyone thinks he's going all lefty on us. And I don't think that was it. There's a court case that just happened in California. And I don't think a lot of people know this because it's in California, where they were going to basically say your child could be transitioned behind your back without the parents knowing. And so the Supreme Court struck it down and said, no, you can't have that. You need to inform the parents if you're going to try to do something crazy like that. And I think that's what he's responding to. And he's like, you should not mutilate the children without the parents' knowledge. And I think people misunderstood what he was trying to say. I don't think he's going lefty. I just think that he was reacting to the court case. At least that's how I view it. However, he changed it to children should not be mutilated. Good. I'm good with that being changed too. That just blanket, children should not be mutilated. And then Marco Rubio apparently is getting ready to do some hand rolling of some cigars in Cuba because he is going to be El Presidente of Cuba here pretty soon, as Cuba is apparently negotiating to surrender because, well, they've got nothing to help them, and we've taken out all their support. So we'll see that change pretty quickly. And then on a fun side, what happened, but the results of that are the funny part. A father in Arkansas faces trial for murdering the creep who raped his daughter. Yet, this is the funny part. The other part's not, obviously. Yet he wins the Republican primary for sheriff in the county. So he's on his way to becoming the sheriff in an area where he is basically still on trial. Not basically, he's still on trial for murdering the guy who raped his daughter. This shows you that people are fed up. People are fed up with our judicial system. If a father kills the rapist, and if it's confirmed 100% that the guy was the rapist, set free. There should be no trial. Period. Nope, not a trial. And now, Pete Hegseth, and this is in our pizza news right now, Pete Hegseth is determining that he'll have to change how they order pizzas from the Pentagon, because they literally have an app called the Pizza Tracker, or a website called the Pizza Tracker, where they know when big things are happening because they'll see the pizzas skyrocket around the Pentagon whenever there's something going on. One of their, I think it was Peter Ducey, told him, why don't you just go to the cafeteria? Probably the better. Now, let's get to the major news. And this is the one I wanted to talk about. When I said, what is MAGA, or rather, who is MAGA? This is what I'm talking about. We've lost the point here sometimes, or I shouldn't say but people have lost the point here when they forget that who MAGA is. It's not just what MAGA is. It's a movement, but who is that movement? Who is the center of that movement? And that is Trump. We're already talking about the fact that we don't know the next candidate, whether they'll be able to hold MAGA together. But there's a lot of people trying to affect this, not realizing that you can't win over the influence of the people of MAGA without having Trump. And you can't take that away. It is him. It literally embodied by him. And there's a lot of fracturing in the Republican Party right now amongst all the wackadoodles that are out there trying to steal away some of the coalition. Let's put it that way. And some of these people are getting crazy. Some of them are MTG, which is Marjorie Taylor Greene, which thank goodness she's no longer a congresswoman. Literally in her tweet says former congresswoman, which I don't know why she has a right to tweet anymore now. You stepped down because you couldn't hack it. So whatever. And then Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, Nick Fuentes, obviously, Megyn Kelly, and a bunch of other small ones too. But these are the big ones. And this is the main thing to notice. They're trying to say that they're really MAGA. We are America first, not you. We are, because we really know it. You started this thing, but you don't really know it. You're not it. Including Nick Fuentes. I included him on here because he was going off and saying, see, Trump's not America first. He's horrible. He's going after Iran. And so we shouldn't vote in the elections. We shouldn't let these people win anymore. And I'm like, one, you're nuts. Because amongst everybody, both Republican and Democrat, if this war stays a week's war instead of a month's or a year's war, it's like 76% of the country is good with that. 76. This is a winning proposition. And amongst Republicans, it's something like 86 or 87%, depending on which poll you look at. This is insane. And so these people kept pushing, basically saying that they are the real MAGA, not Trump. And Trump finally pushed back. He called Tucker Carlson out and said that he was not smart enough to be a threat, basically, in classic Trump style. And this is kind of where we're really seeing the side effects of, or even just the regular effects of Charlie Kirk being assassinated. Because Charlie Kirk was assassinated and he held so much of the party together, all these fringes were almost afraid to do crazy stuff because he was such a man of influence and control, and in good ways, and such a that's a testimony to the goodness of someone too. And when he died, when he was killed, that removed a lot of the holds on people like Megyn Kelly. Megyn Kelly is now supporting people like Candace Owens who are going after Charlie Kirk's widow, Erica, in crazy ways. And I don't want to cover that because I should, but there's so much stuff going on from Candace Owens right now. It's insane. And I'd hate to give it more attention than it's got, but it needs to be dealt with. And I'm glad there's a lot of people out there that are saying things. There's a lot of small channels that are using that to boost their numbers. And I don't really want to do that. I don't want to do special things to boost their numbers. I want to do something that makes a difference, that influences people. Now, this is the cool one. The Iranian ship Denna, also known as the Soleimani, which again we killed Soleimani like a dog, and it was hit with a single torpedo from a Los Angeles class fast attack sub. If you have not seen the footage, look it up. It is super impressive. It's a big frigate, and it's going along its merry way. And when that torpedo hits it, it just lifts the entire rear of that thing just up in the air and drops it, sinking it so quickly. It was insane. And I can just imagine those sailors, how excited they were to be like, we can finally put all of our training to use. We can finally shoot at something. I mean, you're in the military. I mean, you have a job, but it's not very often you get to do it when you're a submariner, right? And they have got to be so ecstatic. I cannot even imagine. They'll have that in their storytelling for a very long time. Now, this is the important part that we need to finalize with and we need to finish with. Who is the biggest loser in Iran right now? And the biggest loser in Iran is China, because we can see it start in Venezuela and then it worked its way into Iran. But the reason why is production. So all the oil, all that stuff that they were getting from Venezuela and then they were getting from Iran, they now don't have. I think like 5% of what they were getting was coming from Venezuela and 20% or more was coming from Iran. So now they're having to figure out other ways to get oil. Again, this is a horrible regime. China is a horrible regime. And they are trying to influence the world. And thankfully, we're finally pushing back in very, very good ways. These are very tactical ways. This is where I think that people are missing with Trump, is that he's taking out the support for China ahead of time, which is great, which is phenomenal. And they're not innocents in this. They're not innocents at all in this, because there's a lot of things that got revealed in this, and that Iran was expecting 1,000 tons of missile fuel chemicals from China for the missiles. 1,000 tons. That's a lot of missiles. And China was just dumping it on them. Not exactly the greatest idea, considering they're the biggest state sponsor of terrorism. And then they were also preparing to sell Iran specialized anti-ship supersonic missiles. Again, who would you be using those for? You're giving them defense against us, right? but it would prevent the only power to take away their ability to cause terror. That's literally what you're doing. And then the final thing that's the most important about this entire thing is the biggest losers in China is because their tech has been exposed for failures. Their tech has been exposed for failures in Venezuela and in Iran. And I was talking to a lefty today, and he was going on and on about it, and he was saying, "Well, it's because their stuff wasn't even on. I mean, they hadn't been turned on by China." And I'm like, okay, you buy equipment to defend your country. You hope it works. The excuse that China hadn't turned it on, that's still a failure. That's still a failure. And the fact that the ones in Venezuela apparently didn't get the right manuals, so they had no idea how to use the equipment. And when they tried hitting technical support, China was terrible. I'm loving it. It's probably like some guy in India, and he's like, "Hello, to help your missile system." I can't do a very good Indian, but that is hysterical. But they were trying to get help. Venezuela was trying to get help to get their stuff set up. And their complaint was that the tech support from China was bad. Again, why buy their stuff? This just sets it out to everyone that this is how horrible it is. Now, to give you an idea how desperate Iran is, and I'll let you go. To let you know how desperate Iran is, they are literally sending up into the sky stuff that were made in the 60s. They're sending aircraft into the sky that were made in the 60s. They're running out of stuff, guys. This went really, really, really fast. And I think the way they decapitated every bit of control has led to this. So it's working out really well. Don't let the left lie to you. Use this knowledge to be useful and helpful in the fight out there so we can make a difference and make an effect. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. It really does help the channel. And it helps, I'd like to get to a point where I could do more of this, where it has more effect and it's affecting more people. And that'd be a huge blessing. I think we finally crossed over to 130, which is very exciting. Please keep pushing and please keep sharing it. If you like it, share it with someone else and share everything that you learn with those around you so we can all be knowledgeable and fight against the lefties. Thank you so much.